Facebook and YouTube, good morning to you. I get a lot of requests for to go to websites and, preacher, you need to go listen to this guy, or you need to read this. And thank you for that. I don't mind that at all, as long as a few weeks later you don't say, "What did you think about that?" Because a lot of times I don't look and I don't read it. But if you mention David Jeremiah, you have my full attention. David Jeremiah is a pastor at Shadow Mountain Church in Georgia. And a friend of mine talked to me the other week, and he said, you need to go to the Shadow Mountain website. And I want you to remember this, because you should, I don't want to tell you what you should do, but it would be helpful for you to go to that website and just listen to a message by Johnny Moore. Johnny Moore is one of the best Christian communicators, I think, in the world today. And the title of the message is Why We Love the Jews. And they've been in the news recently, right? But it's all been politicized. You're either Team Jew or you're not. And it comes down to political divides. And what Johnny Moore did in a masterful way, he says we're dealing not with politics, we're dealing with Bible. We're dealing with the biblical history. And he held up a paper Bible, and it was Old Testament and New Testament. And he said, this Bible is our book. He's talking to the church. But he said, this Bible is a Jewish book. We believe and we follow a Jewish book. And then he said something I had forgotten. He said, other than the Gospel of Luke and Acts, written by Luke, every book in the Bible, Old and New Testament, was written by a Jew. Now, New Testament Jews for Jesus, right? But 64 biblical books that we say we believe in were written by Jews. We also follow a Jew. We depend on a Jew for our eternity. The Bible is what ties us together. As a matter of fact, you may have heard us called in the church, we are a part of the Judeo-Christian faith. We're same team. So try not to politicize it. Try to Biblize it. That was a word I just made up, by the way. But it might catch on. We're a part of the Judeo-Christian faith. In the Protestant Reformation, that's when the church that we're a part of, we broke away from the Catholic Church in the 1500s. It was called the Protestant Reformation. I want to share with you something one of the reformers spoke, and then later it was written down. He said, the Bible is an anvil that has worn out many a hammer. I like that. But he wasn't finished. He said the hammers of unbelievers have been pecking away at the Bible for ages, but the hammers are worn out and the anvil still endures. If this book had not been a book of God, men would have destroyed it long ago. Emperors and popes and kings and priests and princes and rulers, they've all tried to destroy it. They're dead. And the book still lives. But he wasn't finished. He said, no other book has been so chopped, knifed, sifted, scrutinized, and vilified. No book on philosophy, religion, or psychology has been subject to such mass attacks as the Bible. And yet, the Bible lives and is loved by millions. Now, I give you that as a springboard to what I want to talk about this morning. Pastor Ben, he's been answering your questions. I think a couple of months ago, he said, if you have a question, give it to us, and we'll try to find a biblical answer. So he's been talking about your questions. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to step on anything he's going to be doing over the coming weeks. So what I did, I tried to find some questions that you haven't asked, at least publicly, but have probably at sometimes been on your mind. I tried to find some questions that were asked long ago in the Bible. And I want to show you how God's Word answers those questions. Probably you've asked yourself, The same three questions I want to talk about this morning. When I was a freshman in college, I was going to be a highway patrolman because I wanted to drive the car. And then I met with the highway patrol, and they said, if you like working traffic accidents and college football games, you're going to love the highway patrol. And I said, well, then maybe ministry's better. So I went into political science. I started taking political science classes, and I was in one with a friend, and this professor, he always liked to point you out and ask you questions. It was very embarrassing. And this friend of mine, who was a year older,